CNN host Anthony Bourdain died today in France, apparently by killing himself. His death comes 3 days after that of fashion designer Kate Spade, who also committed suicide. Their deaths are high-profile illustrations of a trend that is shocking and undercovered. According to CDC data released this week, the suicide rate in America rose more than 25% from 1999 to 2016. 45,000 people are killing themselves every year, about twice the number that are murdered. Antidepressants, interestingly, are more widely prescribed than ever, and yet they don't seem to be helping. Johann Hari is the author of one of the most important books in recent memory. It's called Lost Connections, Uncovering the Real Causes of Depression and the Unexpected Solutions. He himself has suffered from depression for years. That's what drove him to write this amazing book. Johann joins us tonight. Johann, thank you for coming on. So,
hey, Tucker. It's good to be with you, albeit on a dark day.
It is a dark day, but that number, I mean, I guess the point is that what we're doing isn't working, and no one is saying that. So the percentage of the population taking drugs meant to fight depression is rising, and yet so is the suicide rate. Isn't that like proof enough that what we're doing isn't working?
I wanted to understand that myself because I'd had periods of my life, as you know, where I have been acutely suicidal. So I ended up going on a big journey all over the world, talking to the leading experts about what causes these problems and what solves them. And I think one of the most interesting things, one of the reasons why this shocking news about this increase in suicide, one of the things that helps us to understand that is everyone watching your show knows they've got natural physical needs, right? You need food, you need water, you need shelter, you need clean air. If I took those things away from you, you'd be in real trouble real fast. There's equally strong evidence that all human beings have natural psychological needs. You need to feel you belong. You need to feel your life has meaning and purpose.
Yes.
You need to feel that people see you and value you. You need to feel you've got a future that makes sense. Our culture is good at lots of things. I'm glad to be alive today, but we've been getting less and less good at meeting these deep underlying psychological needs. And it's not the only thing that's going on, but it's the reason why this crisis is growing and growing. So what we've got to do, if we want to find our way out of this, is understand the real causes of depression and anxiety. I learned there's scientific evidence for 9 of them, and solve those problems. Not just drug people, although drugs give some people some relief and they have some value. That's not the solution.
I'm not taking the Scientologist position here, by the way. I think there are clearly people who benefit from those drugs. But the idea that every case of clinical depression is a problem of brain chemistry is stupid, and yet that's what we're told. So what you're arguing...
I don't think it's just stupid. Yeah,
it's not just stupid what?
It's not just stupid. It's misunderstanding the crisis. This depression, this anxiety, this addiction epidemic, these rising suicide rates, these are signals. They are telling us something. They're telling us something really important about what's going wrong in our culture and what we need to fix. And not just because for every person who's becoming suicidal or becoming depressed, most people's lives are diminished to some degree by these factors that are making us feel bad, like acute loneliness, like if you go to work tomorrow and you are controlled, so you have low or no choices over your work, you're much more likely to become depressed. If you had a traumatic childhood and you've not had a chance to release the shame about that, you are 3,100% more likely to attempt suicide. There's a whole range of causes of depression and anxiety that make sense. But when we tell people it's just a problem in their brain, of course there are real factors in the brain, but when we tell them it's just a factor in the brain, what we're saying to them is, your pain doesn't mean anything. It's like a glitch in a computer program. And the most important thing we need to be explaining to anyone watching your show who is suicidal, who is depressed, who is anxious, is your pain makes sense. You're not crazy. You're not a machine with broken parts. You're a human being with unmet needs. And
maybe
the way
the
out
society
of this
is crazy. I mean,
well,
you are a brave man. We are out of time.
The Indian philosopher Krishnamurti said it's no sign of good health to be well adjusted to a sick society.
Well, that's exactly right. This is a brave book, a counterintuitive book. You're going against the established view of it, and I appreciate that. Johann Hari, thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Tucker. The book's called Lost Connections.